and clean out everything, expert
How's
on
that
all.
go,
Great guy all around, so Gary's gonna present to you today.
Yeah, the master of none, is that right? Brian, we good? This my ex marks the spot?
You look a lot thinner here. It's great.
Sweet. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to thank the chamber board, Barbara, for allowing me this amazing opportunity. This is terrific. I'm so thankful. And I'd like to thank all of you for being the gracious audience and kind that you will be to me, because I'm a little nervous. So, thank you in advance. You'll have questions at the end. Hang on to them, make a note if I say something you want to ask about, and we'll talk about it at the end, okay? So, where are we in the residential property market? We hear it all the time. I see some nodding heads from other real estate people and people who are lending. We hear it every day. We have low inventory, high interest rates, and high home prices together. That creates a very challenging situation for both sides. What came first, the chicken or the egg, right? We don't know, right? But sellers aren't selling because there's nothing to buy. Haha, get it? They're not selling because there's nothing to buy, et cetera, et cetera. It goes around in circles. I'm going to say that the time to sell is right now. In this market right now, and I'm going to outline why, and some strategies on how. We've had a lot of sellers sitting on the sideline for 12, 18 months because they don't have anything to buy. We don't want to go pay that much money. So we're at a lowest inventory spot almost ever recorded. There's very low competition from any other properties. So if you get a house on the market right now, you're going to get like all the eyeballs, because there's not a lot of houses on the market. So you are going to get a spotlight. We've got historically higher prices for sure. And there's only serious buyers in the market. Who wants to buy and move around the holidays?
Nobody.
Or in the middle of January when, who knows what's going to happen with weather, power outages, all this stuff. So people right now who are buyers are very serious buyers. They are people who are going through a big life change. Ryan, divorce, mom passed away, somebody became a conserved person and an attorney has got the property. Big life change. I don't want to miss anything here, sorry. So serious buyers. And there's cash buyers out there. There are cash buyers who want to buy a house, maybe hold it, fix it up. Buyers are even waiving inspections at an alarming rate. It's not something that I support my folks in doing. I actually would probably ask for a hold harmless if somebody really pushed me to, we're not going to do inspections. But we've got another way to address that. So it's like a self-fulfilling vicious cycle about low inventory. No one's going to move. Oh, the other people selling right now, the only people bought their retirement home or their second property a while back, right? They're using it as vacation. They finally pull the trigger and they decide to move. So that's another house that we can sell right now. But the houses we're not getting to sell right now are the people who need to buy. I need to sell, I want to sell, but I need to buy something. Common scenario, boomers, right? Okay. Big colonial, stairs, too big, kids are all gone, hopefully, right? Not sneaking back in. And they want a ranch. They want a 2 or 3 bedroom ranch. They want to downsize. It's lower cost, it's easier to heat and cool, everything's good about the ranch. We don't want the big house anymore. They don't want to pull the trigger and start looking to buy a house because it's so challenging to buy a house. There's, things are going on a contract before I even get out to see them. There's nowhere to go, there's nothing to buy. Prices are high, and the biggest one is I won't leave my 3% mortgage rate for an 8. That's tough. That's really, really tough to get over. But as I said, there are some strategies I think that will really, really help, even though it's challenging. If you want to buy, All right, there's nothing to buy. Buyers now. It's too competitive. Prices are high. I won't pay 8%. Sound familiar? It's the same problem that the sellers are going through if they are going to also be buyers. So, how many in this room know what your net proceeds would be, what your equity is, if you sold your house today at market value? At market value, one realtor, okay? So you know, what's your equity number? Now, this room is full of a lot of smart people who are professional in business, and I didn't see a lot of hands go up. That's okay, right? We do this every day. We know. You don't, because you're paying the mortgage and you're not really paying attention to it and you're not doing anything anyway. However, there's so many people out there right now who have no idea the mountain of equity that they're sitting on. You know, to figure out your equity, you need to know a few things. You need to know what your current value of the home is, what it would probably price out at, and a really good professional realtor can give you a comparative market analysis or a broker's price opinion. You can get started. You can look at your Zestimate, of course. You need to know what your principal balance on your note is right now on your house. You need to know what your seller costs are. Okay, those sneaky little things that the state and federal throw in, and your attorney fees and everything. You come up with your net, and you got to know how to do subtraction. That was supposed to be funny. All right. So nobody had, a lot of people out there, they just don't have any idea. When you start telling them, like, your house is worth this, like, nah, it's not. Yeah, it is. It is, because we're seeing it every day. We're still seeing multiple offers, over list, stuff going for cash, people waiving inspections, people doing all kinds of things to get in front of the few houses that are out there. So it's a great time to sell. What are you going to do on the flip side? How are you going to get into your new place? You might have enough equity to pay 100% for your ranch if you're selling that big colonial, and you don't even know it. Or maybe you have enough where you only need a $30,000 or $40,000 mortgage at 8%. Who cares? It's 8%. It's $40,000. It's $300. Let's see. You could probably pull off a 15-year mortgage pretty easy. I wrote it so small, I don't have my glasses on. 40K at 8%, 15 years is $382. So float 40, float 30, put all the cash in, or don't. You're going to give up all that tax credit for your mortgage. Take the equity after you sell your house and pay down everything, both cars, all the credit cards, whatever else you've got outstanding, and take a larger mortgage and continue to maintain that tax credit that you get for your mortgage interest payment. You are the seller, you're in charge. This is a seller's market. You decide, a lot of people have no idea about this. You decide when occupancy occurs in your house. You can close in 10 days on cash with title search. You can close in 45 days with a standard mortgage, and you can stay in your house as long as you guys agree to. All right, it's called a rent back. You stay 6 months. I've seen it go 6 months, and everybody's happy. Because why? Because where's the buyer? Where's the buyers coming from? They're living with mom and dad in that colonial that they can't sell. Right? The buyers are living someplace, or they're on a month-to-month in an apartment, and they're like, okay, as long as the rent back amount that you as the seller are going to pay to rent covers the mortgage, they're fine. They're building equity. They're still living with mom and dad. And then when you find your house to buy, which we take you out, and now we're going to find a house. Now you're breathing, right? You're not stressed. You're making better decisions. You're really looking at things very clearly, and it's a great way. You might actually have a buyer who comes by and says, well, I want to buy your house and I'm going to rent it out. So guess what? Good, I'm your first tenant, because I haven't found my new house yet. So we do a rent back again. We just arrange that. The attorneys are very good at it. You do sell and you refi at a full 8%. Okay, it's going to be a smaller mortgage if you're downsizing and you got some equity. You refi with Steve Grezik, Movement Mortgage. The entire year of 2024 coming up, there are no fees for refinancing. So you finance your new house with Steve, and they're waiving all the fees okay, for up to, well, for the whole year 2024 right now?
Right now, we've been extending it, so.
Extending it, trying to get a little bit of movement in the market. And then there's this points buy down, okay? It doesn't work for everybody, it does work for some people, is where you pay up front and you pay some thousands of dollars and you drop your interest rate for a period. So that'll help. You buy 2 points down, and then it goes, so you say you go 48 months, and things start to equalize, and then you refinance anyway. So it's gonna work out. So buyer strategy, I'll do some small buyer strategies, but this is really, my presentation point is really about, if anybody who's thinking about selling and been holding off, they need to move on it, and I'll get to that point. They need to move on it now. Buyers, hang in there. Increase your down payment as much as you can, above 20%. I sit with sellers all the time with multiple offers and a chart that outlines each point of each offer, and you'd be surprised at how much money they're putting down and how small of a mortgage they're getting really plays into decisions about choosing the best buyer, because the best offer is not always the highest price. You can take that high price offer and it's got iffy financing, and then you're going to get beat up on inspections and whatever. So when you are buying, try to get over 20% if you can. Increase your search area of towns. I know that's tough, but it's a strategy. Review your needs and wants list. Seriously, start moving some of those things that you say you need, and they're really wants. You can give up some of the need. It's really a want, it would be nice, but let's trim it down. And then broaden the search. So talk to your realtor and say, okay, listen, you know when I said it had to have central air? Guess what? Let's look at houses without central air, because I know a guy who puts in heat pumps and splits and could do a whole house for, $5,000. That's not running ductwork and all that. So we know all those guys do. Be most flexible about the closing date. When you're a buyer, when would you like to close? You make your offer, say, at seller's convenience. We'll close whenever. Occupancy, whenever. Now, your lender might say, hey, we got to move on to closing, but leave them occupancy because your commitment's going to run out of time. Indicate in your offer that the inspection is for your buyer's knowledge only. Present an as-is clause, an as-is rider with every offer. It says to the seller that you're not going to beat them up over a broken piece of molding and a light switch and et cetera, et cetera. However, if your inspection that you do have with a licensed inspector does bring up something huge, thousands of dollars of stuff, then that's when I, as the buyer's representative, go back to the seller and say, look, we know we signed an as-is, we know that your buyers aren't going to do anything, but I want to let you know before I send over the termination notice that this is why. It's about this condition we discovered. Well, hello.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Shut my phone.
I like it. It's kind of moody. So we go back to the seller and say, look, I know we're not asking for anything to be done, but we're going to back out. I'm sorry over this condition. We're going to get our money back, and you can start over. Or maybe you talk to your seller and say, hey, maybe we want to keep this buyer. Okay? So you did sign an as-is, and you did say you weren't going to beat him up over stuff, but you're just leaving. And then I go, hey, whoa. Okay, so what, $1,200, $1,500 for a radon mitigation? We can work that out. How about we do a closing credit at the table so I don't have to pay for it? That kind of stuff. Write the letter. It's controversial. Write it anyway. You know what? If your realtor doesn't want to present the letter, put it in the flipping mail and send it to them. Hey, this is Joe and Mary, and we got our family, and we just put an offer in. This is our offer, and this is why we love your house, and we want to make it that way. Some realtors will say, listen, I don't work in that way. We don't present those letters, but please put it in the mail. If your realtor's not saying that, come see me, will you? All right. as 2024 approaches, and this is heading towards closing, I don't see the hook yet.
Oh, we're gonna buzz you. We're gonna
I
buzz you.
believe that coming up, interest rates are going to start to come down. Okay, the Fed has already passed on an opportunity to raise. They're talking about, in their own gibberish language, about passing on a raise again, and then maybe even a little bit further down the road in the spring, making a cut to interest rates. Yep, that's what I'm hearing. So, what happens when we come down from 7.9 to 6.1, 5.8? The floodgates are going to flipping open. There's so many people who want to sell, and they haven't been able to in their minds because of all these things we were talking about, these challenges that they perceive, and they don't know the strategies yet, right? But we're going to help them. Everyone who wanted to sell is going to want to sell. Okay, it's simple supply and demand economics. When everybody hits the market with their house in February, March, and April, the prices are going to be softened and depressed. I'm not saying they're going to come down a lot, but I am going to tell you that in the last month, nationally, we've tracked the amount of houses on the market that have put in a price reduction is up like 35% nationally. So houses are sitting, days on market are stretching out a little bit longer. Yes, that 3-bedroom ranch on Meriden Avenue is selling in a day, I know. And you can't get in to see it before it goes, because that's the hot house, right? But we're talking about bringing in other houses. You know, the scale's gonna tip. It's a seller's market right now. You name your price, you name your terms, you're in the driver's seat. It's gonna go away, and it's gonna be a buyer's market because there's gonna be so many houses on the market once the interest rates come down just a little. All everybody wants is just a little bit of a break. So in closing, if you know anybody on the fence, seriously, send them our way. Okay, urge them to talk to a professional, full-time, seasoned, high producer, realtor. Okay, it's very important. There's this thing about bar of entry to what we do. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it, and I have become skilled at it thanks to this lady right here. There's a lot of people out there with a realtor license that they just started, they do one transaction a year. You really need to be careful. You need to vet when you choose, when you make a choice about a realtor. Smart, full-time, high producer, guide you through the process. Listen, if you want any of the data that I used to put this together, please hit me on LinkedIn. This is the best way. I do not Facebook Messenger, folks. You can do my email too, but there's a lot of those. Definitely LinkedIn, I'll see. So please hit me on LinkedIn. And I'm also, in closing, I am putting together my own trusted vendor list for 2024, and I'm expanding it. Okay, I put some stuff on Facebook up. Some people have already, yeah, you're in. Don't worry. All right. If you would like to talk to me about being on my trusted vendor list, that hundreds and maybe even thousands of people will see and will receive over the year of 2024. Please come see me. Hit me on LinkedIn again if you want. That would be the best way. I'd like to build LinkedIn up a little bit better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.